And then I said, there's no such thing as a red elephant.
That's so funny. And completely original.
And we are live. Welcome here, everyone, to the very, very controversial topic.
Ooh.
How to make your cheap drum set sound amazing.
I like controversy.
And ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cobus in the house.
That's good, Jared.
Yeah.
Mr. Jared Falk in the house.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
Yeah.
And you've been out here for a while now.
I have. It's been amazing.
Yeah.
Love Canada.
We went fishing.
Oh, I didn't catch a thing, you guys. Actually, I did almost catch one, but we didn't have a net, so Jared had to catch it with his hands, and he didn't. He let it go. He just swam away.
But we are here you're here. We launched something called the Ultimate Cobus Experience.
That's right.
And that was where people can buy access to all of your stuff.
Exactly. Every project I've ever been a part of, everything I've ever released, specifically my very first DVD.
Which is this one.
Which is this one. I look 16 on it, even though it was 5 years ago.
You look 17 now.
The beard. Oh, funny guy today. The beard makes a big difference. And we're not going to reprint this, so we thought we'd do something special with the copies out there.
Cool. Okay. Well, you know what? You always like to turn this into a marketing big pitch, but we're not going to do that. Okay. We're going to discuss some stuff about this drum set.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when we launched the video, there was tons of controversy.
Yeah.
People saying stuff. Well, we're going to read some of the comments.
Yeah.
But maybe we should just go through that. But there was tons of controversy just because people thought we were using some sort of camera trickery or voodoo magic.
Or really expensive mics that are like hidden and tons of mixing.
And we weren't.
No.
So what we wanted to do is provide you guys with a very, very accurate lesson filled with tips and tricks on what you can do to actually get your kit sounding really good if it's not the highest quality, if you don't have the newest brand of drum heads or the newest brand of special exotic wood drum set.
Exactly, and without spending a cent of money.
Yeah.
So after this lesson, same as the lesson that we released, you can get up and go to your kit and make it sound better immediately. That was the goal of that lesson, and that's pretty much the goal of this lesson as well.
And so what we want to do is, first thing, we have, you did some giveaways on your Facebook page.
I did.
And
these very symbols, which we might have, let's both sign them if they want.
Sure, if they want.
If they want.
Now, we're giving away one more symbol during this live event. We're giving away that ride symbol, which is actually the newest.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks like
it's the shiniest one of them all.
Yeah.
For sure.
So all this stuff cost us $125.
The whole kit.
And we're saying, but I believe it's actually probably worth more than that, just considering the symbols and stuff. So I got a good deal when I bought it. But so you've given away the hi-hats and 18-inch crash.
And the 16-inch crash. Okay, so that goes to somebody, this goes to somebody else, and then we're going to give this to somebody.
Okay, so the winner of the 16-inch crash is Jared Klima, and we'll is that right if I say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and we'll contact you on Facebook and let you know.
Why would it not be all right, Jared?
I don't know, man. You're such a control freak.
I'm not a control freak. Stop saying I'm a control freak. I forbid you to say I'm a control freak.
Okay, so the winner of the 14-inch hats and 18-inch crash is Zane Laudnell. Congrats, man. We're going to ship you the 14-inch hi-hats, 18-inch crash, and Jared Klima, you have an awesome first name. Very, very cool. We're going to ship you the 16-inch crash after he plays them today.
That's right, and we'll be in touch, and if you guys want me to sign them or personalize them for Jared, we'll happily do that.
Yeah. I cut myself and just
bleed on it.
Okay, but we're giving away the 20-inch ride by the end of this lesson. Okay? So go back to the lesson stuff. Now, you started on...
Oh, my gosh.
You started with the tablas, right?
No, I didn't. It sounded like tablas because it was horrible. No, I started with the worst drum set imaginable. Yeah. 4 lugs per drum, which is crazy.
Yeah.
The snare had like... what are those things called that you use a spanner to tighten? What are they called in English?
Screwdriver?
No, like the screws, man. Like the thing that you need a screwdriver or a wrench. You need a wrench.
Oh, like nuts.
Nuts.
Yeah.
So it had nuts instead of drum key lugs. It was horrible.
Weird.
So I didn't know you could tune a snare drum. I had no idea.
Great. So
that's the kit that I started out with, and it sounded horrible.
Yeah.
And I knew none of this that we're about to tell you guys, and if I did, it would have made such a big difference.
Yeah. So one of the comments on YouTube was, they said, after we published the video, they said, would sound better with Remo pinstripes or Evans EC2s? Might not need the duct tape and toilet tissue on the heads.
That's true. We agree with you,
Yeah.
but the goal of the lesson was that nobody needs to spend any money to make the drum set sound better. So that would entail spending money, which is why we didn't do it.
Yeah. So we want you to be able to go right to your kit after watching this video and actually tune it up. And if you guys have any questions while we're live, there is a submit a question box right below the video. So just go click on that, enter your question, and we're going to get to as many of them as possible.
Yes.
I will say the earlier you get it in, the better chance that we'll get to it. Okay?
The better it is, the better chance we'll get to it.
So are you going to put down
Don't
your...
ask poop questions, you guys, because we're not going to get to those.
Where did you get your glasses?
How do you
Why
do
do you
your
style
hair?
your hair like that? Can you... No. so put down your coffee and play these nice people a little bit of what this kit currently sounds like.
Awesome. I'll happily do that.
Okay.
Just, Victor, just scream at me if I'm in the foot cam shot. This is what this kit sounds like, you guys.
One, two, three, boom, 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 boom. Hey man, you're pretty good.
Thank you, Jared.
Yeah.
We should consider working together, maybe on a product someday.
You know what?
I can teach people how to play drums
Bad
and
idea.
do like play-alongs and stuff. Oh! We did, you guys!
Okay.
The coffee is really kicking in now. This might become a really interesting lesson.
Awesome. So
It doesn't sound that good.
No, it doesn't.
No.
Now, we had this kit all tuned up from when we did the video, so I
Yeah.
actually just went around and detuned it. I did not detune the bottom heads because it's very difficult for us while all the cameras are rolling in live to do that.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about what to do in the bottom heads. We're going to talk about what to do in the top heads. While we're going, if I see any questions come in the chat or the submitted question, we're going to get to those as well.
We also didn't detune the kick.
Right.
So this is the way that it was when we try to make it sound better, which it does.
Yeah. So let's start on the snare. Now
Yes.
you got a nice drum head there. This thing looks brand new, right?
About 10 years old, probably. And yeah, it sounds a little bit out of tune.
It sounds very mid-range.
Just a pinch.
Now, one of the things we did when we were doing the video is we always wanted to start from zero.
Yeah.
My wife watched a movie called Return to Zero yesterday.
Was it good?
It was horribly depressing, and
Oh,
I do
really?
not recommend you watch it.
But in real life, with regards to drum heads, we totally recommend
we were
starting from
watching it.
zero.
I was sitting in bed and I was like, Shannon, this movie is very depressing. And she's like, I know. Okay, so why am I talking about that? So let's
make it
start at
relatable.
zero. Pardon?
To make it relatable.
Yeah,
Real life.
Yeah, but don't watch the movie.
So,
Okay, so yeah, basically when I say return to zero or start fresh, it means loosen the drum head so they're all just loose. Like you can move them with your fingers tighter or looser. And what that's going to do is that's going to give us a nice starting point.
yeah, even starting point.
When starting out, like you see a lot of drummers, they'll tap the head and then they're like, oh yeah, this needs to go up, this needs to go down. But I know a lot of drummers, even after playing for a few years, it's still hard to hear pitches and to hear what's higher and what's lower. And honestly, for me, it's still that way. And especially if you're dealing with a drum that's like crazy out of tune,
Yeah.
right? So
Definitely.
in this sense, we want to just start from nothing or zero, where exactly,
Sounds like that.
sounds like a piece of paper.
Which it's not too far from that, to be honest.
We should give away the snare drum too.
We should.
But we're going to break up the set.
We don't want to break up the set.
Okay.
Think about
Okay,
it.
so now what you're going to do is you're going to finger tighten
Yeah.
everything.
Which means I just go as tight as I can just using my fingers.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit tricky with this set, and I think with cheap sets in general, because the lugs aren't even sometimes. Like
Right.
sometimes one will have a lot more resistance than another one, and it has nothing to do with the drum head. It just has something to do with like low quality lugs.
You
So
could
doing my best.
you could put some oil in there.
Yeah, exactly.
if you wanted to.
So that's kind of as far as I can go, just using my fingers.
Great. Cool. Yeah, so now that he's done that, what he's going to do is move around the drum head
Star-shaped on a circle, John.
Okay, here's one.
Allegedly, that's a big controversial thing. People are very serious about that.
Someone said, first, I should have got the names of the YouTube comments. I'm
No,
sorry.
I think it's better that you don't.
Okay, it says, first off, I noticed you guys tuning the drums in a circle rather than a star pattern. As a drummer of 8 years in and out of school and a viewer of plenty of videos here on YouTube, I would say the star pattern is fairly universal. What do you think?
I don't know if I guess that's true what he's saying. It is universal.
Right.
I don't know if I agree to the extent of saying that that's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
So, to each his own.
Yeah. You know what? There used to be a time when you got the heads, you had to like crack in, you had to break the glue, then you had to like, you know, tune in a cross pattern and this pattern, and you had to like, people had all these tuning calculators and stuff. But honestly, since we've started using certain snare head, we have used Evans HD Dry.
Yeah.
I don't know what you use, but it's just like tunes really easily, and I don't have to go on a star pattern. I don't have to like break in the head. It just sets nicely and it feels great.
Yeah, and I want to say, like, you guys know that my history with tuning is still developing. Like, I still don't think I'm the best in the world. I'm really still learning, and
what?
it's still.
You just told me before, you was like, I'm the best at tuning in the world.
I had no idea that I did that. I'm still learning, and I'm still kind of, just learning from everybody what techniques they use and how to become better, and just training my ear. But something that I remember really intimidated me about tuning was that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You have to do this, like quarter turn, and then I'd obsess about it. Like, what does a quarter turn look like? And if I'm a little bit more, am I not be able to tune the head? So I got kind of intimidated by the details, and so I'd say rather focus on the sound. What does it sound like? Train your ear, and then the details become all but irrelevant.
Yeah.
They sure help, but that's not what it's about.
Yeah, RS26 says you get a lot better even tension with the star pattern. And you'll see with the way we're doing it, it's not actually true, because he's going to be turning equal amounts around the whole drum. And we're starting from 0, which is, they're all the exact same tension to start. So now if I tune them and turn them the exact same, naturally it's going to be the exact same tension all the way around. Yeah. At least as close as it's gonna be if you use a star pattern turning the same amount. Yeah. So when it comes to that sort of thing, that's where I don't necessarily agree, but if that's what works best for you and helps you get your sound,
totally,
go for it.
Totally.
Yeah, there's no one way. This isn't like you have to do it this way, or else you should quit.
This is the way we do it, and this is the way that it works for us. Yeah. So
go for it. So now tune this up. What are you gonna do? Do a half turn to start?
Want to do it? Yeah, I think. Yeah, let's do a half turn to start, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay.
Oh, I feel like it's still really loose because the lugs offer so much resistance.
And now you're doing a star pattern.
I'm actually doing the star pattern. Yeah. I think I was intimidated by the trolls.
Not trolls.
No, this is still way too loose. I'm gonna do
another this one. You forgot that one.
See, that's star pattern. This confuses me.
Okay.
Should I? It's still really loose.
Yes. Now you do. So you want to bring it up evenly, and that's what I recommend. So don't go to one lug and just tune it until it's really tight, and leave the other ones really loose. You want to just go around the drum evenly. So whether you do that going around the drum, whether you do that as a star pattern, it doesn't matter to me. Just go around in a way that keeps the lugs even, especially when you're getting to the range of your desired tension, right? Because up here is where you don't want to be, down here is where you don't want to be. You want to be somewhere in here. Yeah. So let's get to that area, and then we can fine tune up or down. Yeah. Okay.
So I did a full turn now.
Okay.
2 halves, and now.
So we're getting a tone.
It's not necessarily a beautiful tone.
But what you can do is you can feel like. Push this head down, you know that your head is you want it tighter than that.
Oh, heck
100%. Yes. So I would say go around again, get to that.
There's a little bit of a wrinkle there.
Yeah, and that'll come out.
Let's do another half turn.
Yeah. Rhythm 40.
This one is, there's a lot of resistance on this lug, so I'm going to do a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because I can feel that it's...
Julian Bright TV says, when is the cymbal giveaway? We're giving it away at the end, okay? Rhythm 45 says they're too shy to troll. And Captain Bob says, I troll all the time. It's for salmon and cod.
Oh!
Speaking of fishing.
That's what we did.
We were just trolling.
Yeah. The first time you said it, I thought you were joking, because I'd never heard about it before. There's still a little bit of a twinkle.
Etro Berg says, Jared, can you damage the skin by tuning? How do I know if my skin is damaged? Generally, if your skin is damaged, like this, there's some of the coating that has been taken off of it, right?
Yeah.
So you look at this. This head is long past needing to be changed.
About 7 years.
And so when you start to get those nicks taken out of it and that sort of thing, then it needs tuning. Or if you really hate the sound of it, it might be, and you can't even tune it to the way that your ears actually like it.
Yeah.
That's when it's time to change it. Now, if you like the sound of the snare when it's all beat up like this, you can just leave it.
Yeah.
So what do you got? You need to go higher. He likes it way higher. Can you take it higher?
I can. If I take it higher, will you please stop singing?
A little bit of Creed for you right there. Name the drummer. He's a DW artist.
Oh gosh, how did I forget his name? Scott Stapp, Mark Tremonti. Oh, I forgot now.
Scott Phillips.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so now you're in the right area. So now what you want to do is you want to take the drum key and bash along the edges of your drum.
So that you take a chunk out of the bearing edge along every lug. That makes it sound so much better.
Here's what someone says. They say, Jared has the nicest voice. I totally hire him to read bedtime stories.
Wow, did someone really say that? That's amazing.
No, but that was unrelated. I don't know if you know that.
I don't think it is. It's all about tone.
One person says, OMFG, never hit the drum with anything but your fingertip on the edges, exclamation point.
No. 3 exclamation points.
Oh, yeah. You're gonna ruin the drum shells.
3 exclamation points.
FFS, that's basic.
4 exclamation points.
So
clearly very passionate about this topic. We pinched the nerve, it seems. We apologize.
Yeah, so if you have expensive drums and you're really concerned about the bearing edges, they've been cut to like the perfect 45 or 60 or 50 or whatever degrees, and you don't want to risk hitting them or damaging the drum head, don't use the drum key, use your fingers. Okay, just basically
just to appease that guy, because I'm scared that he's going to have like a heart attack or something if I do it again. So I don't want to put too much pressure on him. I'll just use my finger for this one.
And you can mute the bottom head if you want a little bit.
Yeah. And you kind of try and hit it at the same distance from the rim at every lug. Right. Something I learned from John Good is and I think you do the same thing.
What's he known as, the John Good?
The woodologist.
The woodologist.
At DW Drums. So he always hits the rim at the same place on his finger, so maybe like on the second digit, just to make sure that the distance is the same. I'm just going to eyeball it.
Okay, so you hear that. I don't know if that's coming through, Victor.
Yep.
Nice. Okay, so this one is higher than this one, right?
So we commit to a tone and then we match everything else to that one. So what do you think the higher one?
I like the higher one better. If you have on a snare, if you have a poor drum head that needs to be replaced, you're always kind of better off going a little bit higher. It seems to eliminate a lot of those unwanted frequencies and like those unwanted like overtones and stuff. So I was tuning it higher. Kind of covers up a lot of the sucky sound. Okay, so he's just going around and he's pitch matching to the best
as I can.
As close as you can.
And like I said, guys, I'm still learning, but
and it's going to be, sometimes it's going to be tough because you're not using a new drum head. It's not in good shape, and so it might be really hard to actually get it tuned properly.
That's close enough.
Cool. Okay, so let's turn the snares on. Let's just play a little bit for us. Yeah, it sounds great. And you're hearing a lot of those more subtle ghost notes he's playing, and the accents. It's actually got some articulation.
Yeah, and not as many hanging, irritating overtones.
Exactly. Okay, let's talk about the bottom head on the snare. What do you do?
You know what? It differs. I just want it to sound good. For the toms, I usually go a little bit higher on the bottom than on the tops, but for the snare, I think maybe the same.
I go higher on the bottom.
Do you go much higher?
For me, I like a very tight bottom snare head.
Yeah.
I find that the snares are more responsive against the head against when the head is really tight. If it's loose, you get a lot of that buzzing.
Yeah, a lot of rattle.
Yeah, a lot of rattle and yeah. So now we've let's just flip this over. Do you mind for a second?
I don't mind at all. Thank you for being so polite. I wish you were this polite when the cameras weren't rolling. Silence, quiet, because he knows I'm right.
You're always right.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, now look at this amazing drum head on the bottom.
That's gorgeous.
Okay, so who makes this drum head? There's no way to know.
No, there's no way. I don't think they want to be known.
Yeah. Now the bottom head on the snares, with Evans, they're called hazy. You have a hazy 300, I think, and that's the one we use. But they're very thin head.
Yeah.
And very, very articulate with the snare wires.
Never hit the bottom head.
Yeah, you want to be very careful.
Unless you're doing a really crazy solo.
Yeah. You can just hit it all.
Stuff like that. But
Greg Bissonette does that.
Yeah.
He's drunk. And I saw Carmen Appice at NAMM with his brother Vinny. He was drumming a guitar.
That's so rad.
Okay, so what are you going to say?
What was I going to say? Oh, I have this trick, you guys, that I made up by myself because I'm really smart. That if you don't want the wires to touch the head, just do that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I actually learned that from Mike McCalco.
You did?
So I stole it from him.
Well, he stole it from me because I made it up.
Okay, so here you want to do the same thing. Okay, so you'll notice if you remember the tone from previous. This actually is out of tune, but. So you want to go around and do the same thing. Tune it up. Okay, well, we don't need to do it all. You know what I mean, right? But I would tune it higher than the top head.
If they're the same tension, then you're going to run into problems of having like a really long sustain.
Yeah.
So if that's what you want, then by all means go for it. But
cool. You can please flop the snare back over.
Happily.
Mr. Paul Guitar.
You're welcome, Jared.
What about the snare wires? We didn't really talk about that. Like, do you crank them tight? Do you crank them loose?
Kind of medium, I think. I used to like them really tight because they give you a ton of articulation.
Right.
But then the snare doesn't really breathe. Mm-hmm. So I think there's kind of a midpoint where they're really loose and really tight, but where you get articulation, but it still feels like a living, breathing drum.
Right. I would say on a lower quality, inexpensive drum set, that it's nice to crank them a little bit tighter.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they're even broken. And if one of the wires is broken, just get a wire cutter and snip it off. You should just have more than like 5 wires below.
Yeah.
Right? Some drums, they had like 3. It sounds more like a tom. Great. So how does a snare sound?
It sounds good.
Great. So there are some overtones, which we're going to get rid of after we take care of the toms.
Yeah.
So what about the toms?
Toms, well, let's apply the same approach that we did for the snare, which is to start from 0.
Yeah.
Get the drum in tune with itself first.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, like I said, or like Jared said, we didn't detune the bottom heads, so they are still relatively in tune.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing, I said this in the lesson as well, I don't know if it's in the shortcut or in the extended version, but the biggest thing that changed tuning for me was that to get the drum in tune with itself. Like before you start worrying about the relationship between the top head and the bottom head, just get the drum in tune with itself first, the head.
Yeah.
So make sure that the tension is even all across the lugs. So I just went to 0, I made it nice and loose, and now I'm making it finger tight. And then I'm gonna do just quarter tone.
Yeah, start with the quarter tone. Toms naturally are gonna take less tension to get them to tune. Snares, in the style of music that me and Cobus play, we like more of a tighter snare tone.
That's right.
He's going across again. You never went across. Fail. You get electrocuted.
I did. I don't do a star pattern. I do something else. I don't know what I do. But anyways.
So you can decide if you want that lower tone. Like some of you might be watching, like, sounds really good. There's actually a tone.
Exactly. Doesn't sound like a piece of paper. I want to go a little bit higher, though.
I wanna take you higher.
If you sing it one more time, we're going to have to pay Creed licensing. So don't. I'll just do... Actually, that's not the main reason why I want to stop singing, but let me blame it on that. I think I'm just going to do a quarter tone.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if
Ooh,
if you go too high, don't worry about it, because you can always tune it down a little bit. Like, don't be afraid. With tuning, you just need to experiment. That's how you learn.
What does it sound like?
Yeah. No.
No.
It sounds very bad.
It sounds very bad.
We're
going down.
The top is currently higher than the bottom.
That's true. That's why it sounds like poop. So I'm just going down about an eighth.
Great. I think we're getting some attack and some tone.
Yeah, and a ton of overtones.
Yeah, which we'll take care of.
Yeah.
Now the bottom is a little bit higher. Is it? Let's just make sure it hasn't gone out.
Close, actually. They're very close.
The bottom, actually, in this case, is
A bit lower.
almost lower. So maybe we should just take it out and
Make the bottom move.
yeah. I know we don't have too much time because this is only an hour lesson, but
Yeah.
we'll do what we can.
There we go.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to grab some questions here. KKMIG says, is it important for a drummer to know theory, or is it just enough to play by ear?
Oh, it depends on what you want to do.
Yeah.
Do you want to do session drumming? Do you want to make a career out of drumming? Then learning theory is really important.
Yeah.
If you're a hobbyist, then not so much.
I think this whole package that they put together is play by ear. That's what we
With some
taught.
basic theory.
Yes, and exactly. You built it off of learning the theory of all the note values and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I think to play drums, no matter what, it requires some theory. Whether you have a high level or just a basic understanding, it's going to require some theory. So if you want to take it further and you want to learn to read more complex rhythms and stuff like that, that's totally fine. But if you want to more go to the route where you're training your ear to learn music, like a lot of drummers, that's how they learned growing up. They just played to their favorite records and stuff like that.
That's what I did for a long time.
Yeah.
And then when I started getting some lessons,
Yeah.
I started learning what I was doing,
Yeah. And it's
which
really
made
cool.
a huge difference.
Yeah. So I think there's pros and cons to both. I think it's not a question of should I learn by ear or should I learn by sheet music and stuff like that. I think it's just a matter of you need to learn both, and both methods are really, really good.
Yeah.
Right? I remember I played with some piano players, and they could not play if there was no sheet music in front of them. It's like,
Could not play by ear.
no, couldn't play.
Wow.
Just like if they can only play if they saw sheet music. And in that case, I'm like, wow, that's no fun.
No.
Like you want to just go ahead, yeah. Yeah, that's much better. You see how it changed a little bit of the decay?
Yeah.
Just by increasing that a little bit?
Yeah, yeah.
So very cool.
Do you think, is this attention
You could go up, try and go up a tiny bit, but
a
very
little bit? Yeah. There's a bit of a rattle as well. I think I'm thinking the heads are on the way out because we've detuned and tuned them twice now.
That's good.
Yeah.
Once
With
you-
some muffling, it'll sound great.
Now,
But we'll get to that.
yeah. And this isn't a video or a lesson on how to get your drums to sound exactly like a set of DW Collector series.
No.
Okay? It's not
Not at all.
Not even how to get your drums to sound like the PDP kit we were using the other day, which was, what is that, a $700 or $800 kit, right?
Yeah, for a 7-piece.
Yeah. And so it's not about that. This is about how to take what you currently have and just make it work.
Yeah.
So we're going to get your kit sounding a lot better. And you're doing the same thing here.
Totally, just going back to 0.
Okay.
And then I'm going finger tight.
Okay, I'll grab some more questions here. Matt Wetton says, what is your opinion on whether to cut a hole in the resonant head of the kick drum or not? What do you like to do, Cobus?
I always like a hole in the resonant head. Because usually I want to mic the kick, and it just makes things a bit easier, especially with regards to some articulation and attack.
Yeah.
And it just makes the drum breathe, especially if you're doing fast patterns and playing, burying the beater like I like to do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the air has nowhere to go. But I mean, if you like that sound, then by all means.
I find the action of the drum head changes when there's no hole. And so it really alters the technique that you use.
When we did the freshest drum cover in the world,
yeah,
that was crazy, man.
Yeah.
Like having two people play the same kick with no hole in it.
Right.
That was a really. I told them it felt like I had a split personalities. The kick would play itself, and I would have no idea, and it just like responding and kicking my beater back. So it's kind of interesting. So back to 0, finger tight, and then just a quarter turn.
Okay.
Wow. Doesn't sound horrendous.
No. I think it needs to come up just a tiny bit.
Just a pinch.
This one's from IH2JO. Hey, Cobus, this is my first live lessons. I don't make a lot of money at all. Is there any way I could get in on the DW action? You have endorsements with the greatest companies in the world, and I really wish I had a kit with both of their magic on it. So can you help them? Can you give them a drum set?
I can't give you a drum set. That's the short answer. The long answer is actually too long for this lesson, but endorsements by itself is like a totally different topic.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I can say without giving you like a 30-minute answer.
Yeah.
But yes, I do love DW and Sabian and everything else that I play, so I'm very stoked. I'm very thankful.
Yeah. This question's from Thomas, or known as in Drumeo as Twirling Twister, or the Link Machine.
Oh,
he knows the website better than any of us, even at the office here.
Or Toogle.
Or what's that?
Toogle.
Toogle. Okay. He says, can taking off your heads and then putting them back on to start over your tuning damage your drum head?
What do you think?
I don't think it's going to be no different than doing what we did when we start from 0. Okay, and we're at the point where these heads need to be changed, right?
Oh yes,
like they're already. We know that they're done, but we're trying to make the most with what we got.
Yeah.
Cool.
You know what I realized? We never checked whether the head's in tune with itself at the top. Ooh, I can hear that the head's on the way out there. That rattle is usually not the best sign. Let's see. Cool.
This is a question from Torin War Drums. I think it depends on how you play. I play extreme metal and I run my snare pretty tight. The circle method won't work for me because it keeps loosening the next tension rod, so I have to use a star method. Have you encountered any problems with this when tuning a drum very high?
Really?
Like I said, if you do equal turns, it's the same tension if you start from 0.
I think people are I don't want to sound condescending because I'm really not, but I think people are assuming that going in a circular pattern as opposed to the star pattern, tuning this lug in the wrong relationship to this lug affects this lug's tuning, which I don't necessarily think is the case. I haven't found that to be a huge contributing factor to struggling to tune the drums, to be honest.
This is a good question. Magic Percy, what are your thoughts on tuning, using a tuning aids like TuneBoss, drum dials, there's iPhone apps, stuff like that?
Do we want to be controversial?
No, I don't.
I mean, what would be better? To be able to do it without those things, or to have to be dependent on those things? That's the question for me.
I think just like a guitar player knows how to tune his guitar to itself, it's really important to learn. They also know how to tune to a piano. If they're playing with a pianist who's everyone's got to tune to the piano because that's something they can't necessarily just tune on the spot. Or if you tune using a device, it's really good to be able to do that. Then everyone can just do that. And so same with drumming. I think you should know all the different techniques when it comes to tuning. Drumming is a little bit different because when it comes to toms, not everyone tunes to notes. Yeah. Some people do. I know we just saw Dave Weckel, and he's saying he tunes his drums to fourths.
Yeah.
And I mean, you've done lessons in Terry Bozio, and he's very particular.
Very particular. He actually tunes them to like scales.
Yes.
Which is incredible.
But I've never tuned notes before.
No.
Yeah.
What sounds good to you?
Yeah.
That's what you tune to.
That's
so I just went to 0, finger tight. I had a little bit of a problem with this lug because the tension was huge on it. So so I kind of overcompensated a little bit just to be sure, and then I just went quarter turn.
Okay.
Now, it doesn't sound horrible.
No.
And the biggest reason, I think, is because the bottom heads are in tune. So this is something a lot of people, I neglected the bottom heads for years until I realized how big of an effect it has. So this is how fast we're able to get it sounding decent because the bottom heads are in tune. So all you would do with the bottom heads is exactly what we're doing with the top heads. So you would do this and then you would go to the bottom head, back to 0, finger tight, a quarter turn or half a turn if you're on the snare, whatever. And it has a huge difference, makes a huge difference if the bottom head is in tune with itself.
Yeah. Cool.
You don't have to like squeeze good tone out of it. It just starts happening naturally. What do you think?
Yeah.
Higher or lower?
I would just go like
a little bit higher.
Tiny bit higher. Yeah. And then we're going to talk a little bit about muffling, which when you have an inexpensive drum set, muffling is probably going to be the best way to kind of kill all those overtones.
Also really controversial, because I know if John Good was here, he would say, never need muffling with a good drum set. And I agree. Like with a good drum set, you don't need muffling, unless you want a really dry, dead sound. But if you're good enough at tuning, you wouldn't need muffling to control the length of the note.
Right.
Ooh.
So
the note's not bad, but the sustain sounds horrendous.
Yeah. And so
bottom head?
I don't think we need to go to the bottom head. The same thing applies to the other heads, and I want to kind of keep going here because we have lots to do. But so we're going to go through some questions, and we're also going to give away that 20-inch ride.
That's right.
But I think we should quickly go into where is the gaff tape? Victor. Sorry, guys, I should have grabbed some.
Gives me more time to tweak this a little bit. Better.
Awesome, thanks, Kyle. So this one says, IH2JO says, is there any wrong way to tune, even if you get the sound you desire?
Wow, that's tricky.
I would say no.
I would say no, as long as you're not damaging the head.
I would say even if you damage the head. I know this.
So for you, the only thing that you're worried about is, am I getting the sound that I want?
Yes. Okay. Am I getting the sound that I want? I'll let you do this, actually.
Should I make a little square?
Yeah. So this is what I used to do, just because I actually started using toilet paper, and then once we started filming lots of videos, we always had this stuff lying around. This is called gaff tape. Gaff tape is a little bit more expensive, but it doesn't leave much residue.
Yeah.
Or any residue, hardly. Now, if you use duct tape, you'll notice that once it's on there for a long time, you try and peel it off, it's like...
Yeah, leaves a sticky residue.
So what we'll do here is we'll put... You got this, that camera over there, you can just show them.
Yeah. So what goes first?
Yeah.
Floor tom.
Sure.
And I'm putting it on the edge, not on the edge, but close to the edge. And like I said in the lesson, usually I'd put it quite close to where the mic's going to be.
Yeah.
So that the mic would obscure it and hide it, especially if there's cameras around.
A little bit better.
A little bit better.
Let's do the toms. We'll come back to that one.
Okay.
Need some work.
Yeah.
So, Grayson W says, when I tune my low tom, I barely get it unflabby. Is that good?
Flabby.
And
I used to struggle with that because I like a growling, fat, low floor tom.
I know when I was Benny Greb, he puts his floor tom like super low, like just above creative tone. Same with Piece. Same with Dave Weckels. He just liked it to kind of just be a thump. Almost.
Yeah, like a small little bass drum. Almost.
Exactly, a step up with a little bit more tone.
Yeah.
So.
Depends on what you want. I know Matt Halpern, he did a show on Drum Channel.
Yeah.
I wasn't there, but I heard about this from the sound engineers because nobody else did this before him. He just finger tight, if that. And it was like literally like little bass drums. It sounded so big and like just fat, you know.
Yeah, and he uses two floor toms.
Yeah. Depending on the setup.
Right. Brother Kevin says, what is the difference in sound between a bass drum drilled for tom mounts and one not drilled? Does the tom mount rod inside the bass resonate?
I don't think perceivably so.
Yeah, I've never noticed a huge difference. I know some people really don't like, they like virgin bass drums.
Yeah.
So they like when the bass drum has no holes in it.
Yeah.
The only hole or place for air to escape is the little vent holes and the bass drum head, the reso head hole. But for me, I don't mind having the mount on the bass drum.
No.
Offers more flexibility.
I don't really use the mount because of my setup, but I also don't mind if it's there.
Right.
So, toms. Yeah, this floor tom needs a little bit of work, I think.
You want to put one more thing?
Okay, one more thing. Let's not get sidetracked. Cobus, I'm prone to getting sidetracked.
He is like perfectionist with his drum sound, which is great.
I totally am.
But when we're using a kit like this, like when we started talking about this video and I showed him this kit, he's like, huh?
It's going to take some patience.
We have two DWs here. We have my exotic DW and we have his PDP. Both are very nice drum sets.
Yeah.
And so this is what you got to play.
And especially for like a lesson that needs to be a decent length.
Yeah.
Because I just like spending my sweet time getting it to sound exactly how I want to.
Yeah.
Like if you guys check out my latest videos, you'll see that. Dude, I'm kind of obsessed with symmetry, I think.
Yeah.
I need to like watch out before it becomes like something crazy because I just
Yeah.
like spend so much time setting up the drum. Crazy. Let's hear it. I mean, this is really dead, and I would almost prefer half of this, but I think let's leave it.
Okay.
But personal preference, that's a bit much for me. I like it if it rings a little bit.
Okay. So what you can do then is you can shrink the thickness of the square that you're trying to and you can also shrink the piece of tape.
Or you can just do this. Can I use this one?
No.
So instead of
I'm saving that for myself for later.
I don't care what you want. So I'm just kidding. Before you guys think I'm serious. So if you don't want to use the square, what you can also do is you can just fold. I don't know if you guys can get a close up of this, but you can fold.
That camera will give me.
Oh, this one, yeah. So you can kind of fold the duct tape like that and stick it to itself. And then when it sticks to the head like that, then it just has that little flap, which kind of subdues some of the resonance. And that's not as aggressive as a piece of square.
Right. Cool. With that floor tom, I think we should tune it a tiny bit lower.
I think so too.
So this
And for the camera.
let me get the light.
Clearly we don't have basketball in South Africa, or baseball. So just a little bit lower.
David said, Jared, I was having trouble with my drumsticks being only 2 inches long. Very hard to get around the kit. Any ideas?
Get longer drumsticks.
I've never heard that question before.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well done. We'll ask a question that we've never heard before.
Hi, Cobus. You can hit that. Oh, very good.
Oh!
Very good.
That's nice.
What did you do?
I just loosened it a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Eighth of a tone.
This is from Owen Spender. I have a large floor tom, 18 by 18, which I have new heads on. I'm finding it has a lot of sustain, even with moon gel on. Can you suggest anything else?
I think just spend more time with the tuning. And maybe head selection as well. It would depend on what kind of heads you're using on it.
Yeah.
Definitely 2-ply, I'm going to say.
Sorry.
No, you can go.
Some guys, if they like the sound of their high toms with 1-ply heads or 2-ply heads, they'll do that, but they'll actually put a different drum head on the floor tom. Something that is, like he said, 2-ply or even thicker, like Evans makes the EC2.
Yeah.
And that will give you a little bit more control and less sustain.
Cool.
Yeah. So what do you think? You want to play a little bit?
I do want to play a little
Okay.
bit. So you guys remember what it sounded like. It didn't sound that good. Hopefully it sounds a bit better. So much better.
Now,
I love this floor tom.
Yeah, just sounds good.
It's really good.
So it's not like the kit, like I said, it doesn't sound like your UW, but it sounds good.
A heck of a lot better than it did when we started.
Bass drum, let's just quickly touch on that. What do you do?
Well, I think kind of the same approach. It's a little bit more difficult, I think, because the drum is so much bigger. So getting finger tight means a little bit less on the kick than it does on the toms, I think. But yeah, same approach applies. It depends on what you like. I like, I don't want to say I like it tight, but I do like it a little bit tighter than most people. A lot of people like the kick head to be really loose. Yeah. But I like some articulation and response from the head, especially if I want to do like quick double strokes or use the double kick pedal or something like that. So depends on personal preference. Okay. And resonant head a little bit tighter, obviously. A lot, well, not a lot, but significant amount tighter than the battery head.
The bass drum, for me, it's not as important about the tone. It's more I just want like a nice thump and nice amount of attack.
Yeah. So. And the response.
Exactly.
For sure.
The last thing.
Yes.
This is the biggest thing about how to make this kit sound good is the way you play it.
Yes.
So can you touch on that a little bit? Just like the wrong way and then the right way.
Cool. I think we spoke about this in the lesson as well. Confidence is key. That's quite vague, so a lot of people will go, I don't know what you mean by confidence. So I think you're well practiced and well rehearsed enough that you know what you want to play and you play it with confidence. And it changes the way that your body moves and it changes the way that the drums sound. It has a huge effect. And just to break it down even a little bit simpler than that, to make it really practical, if you haven't played drums for that long, one thing that a lot of people struggle to do is to hit the drum in the middle, which I think will give the bass tone depending on what you want, of course, but I think for the most part, hitting the drum in the middle produces the bass tone. So I think a lot of guys, when they're starting out, obviously it makes perfect sense that you wouldn't have perfect accuracy straight off the bat. So maybe let me just hit the drums kind of close to the edge. I'll just rotate like twice, and then I'll hit them in the middle of the drum twice. Just so you guys can hear the difference between hitting a bit closer to the edge as opposed to hitting in the middle of the drum. That's a huge difference, enormous difference. There's a lot more bottom end, a lot more attack, a lot more body. So that's something practical. Concentrate on hitting the middle of the drums. I think dynamics has a huge effect on the way that it sounds if you're able to play dynamically. So accents are nice and loud, ghost notes are nice and soft. And I think that confidence, hitting the drum in the middle, dynamics would be three really big things to improve the drum sound. Yeah. What do you think, Jared?
I think exactly the same things.
That's awesome.
Just play like you actually mean it. Like you're not hitting the drums by accident. Yeah. Every single note is on purpose.
But at the beginning, that's difficult to do because you just started playing drums. You don't know what you mean yet. So it doesn't mean just play louder. Like a lot of guys think, well, confidence means bashing the drums, and that's not the case. So it comes with practice, comes with time. If you're serious about it, it'll happen. Yeah. But definitely pursue that. Definitely don't play with reluctance because it totally sounds like that. Like people will go, ooh, it doesn't sound comfortable.
And as far as, I don't know, it's the volume at which you hit the different pieces as well.
Absolutely, that's also huge.
Like acoustically mixing yourself. So a lot of drummers will hit the bass drum really quiet, the snare really loud, or the snare medium and the hi-hats really loud. Yeah. So that's like the most common thing. So when people listen to them play, a lot of these drummers will play in churches and stuff. They're like, what? Drummer, he can play a beat, but he just doesn't sound good. It sounds so much...
But it makes sense, right? Like when you think of like the early stages of drumming, your rock and the thing that keeps you grounded is the hats. You're keeping time with this. Yes. So you're like burying into it because it's like your lifeline, you know? Yeah. Like you're not really thinking about the kick and the snare that much. So the more you play, the more comfortable you get, the more you'll be able to mix yourself and like introduce some dynamics specifically on the hats.
Yeah, agreed. So definitely be aware of that. Hey man, we have to think about how we're going to give away that cymbal. This is something we should have planned before.
Maybe, yeah, we should have.
Just wanted to. I'm gonna go through some questions and we'll think about that.
So okay.
Rhythm 45 says, Jared, you don't have to share this. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share this. Sorry to contradict your snare tuning. Rhythm is a Drumeo edge member, so it's fine. But I tune my snare batter really tight, and the res head is typically half as tight, which is what I do to get rid of sympathetic buzz. I find tight resonant heads get more buzz. Have you ever heard of that?
I've heard of that, for sure.
Yeah?
I think if that works for you, Awesome.
Yeah, I've never ever heard of that. And the only thing I've heard that really gets rid of sympathetic buzz, and for those of you who don't know what that means, it means like when you hit the tom, the snare wires will buzz.
I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it goes.
Yeah.
So that's what it is.
I've heard of like making a bed, so tuning up the snares on each side of the snare wires, just so you create a little bed for the snares. But it's not something that has ever really worked for me.
It's not something that really bothers me, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like if I think about recording drums and practicing drums and playing drums, all the practical places where I play the drums, I've never gone, oh, that snare buzz is killing me. I need to do something about it. I think I'm actually going to try that, like, because I've heard about it, but I've never actually tried it. I want to see if it works.
For me, it's sometimes, like, you always don't want too much, but it's like when an acoustic guitar player is playing and you hear their fingers move up and down the strings.
Yeah.
You don't want to hear the loud squeaking,
but it does give it some character.
A little bit of that is nice, because you're like, someone's actually playing.
Totally.
Yeah.
If there's complete separation between the toms and the snare wires, it sounds like it's triggered.
Yeah. Cool. Win Shen says, just my 50 cents here. If you want to get really good at tuning, buy the DVD from the tuning guru Bob Gatson called Drum Tuning Sound Design. It's killer in tuning. I've never heard of that. But I know Bob Gatson's the Evans guy. He's very smart.
Oh.
Drum tuning.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I just want to quickly interject. Just even if you suck, even if you have no confidence in your tuning ability, I'm going to raise my hand here because that was me for a really long time. Just keep doing it. Like in your practice space, if you're intimidated by people, do it when nobody is around. Just keep doing it. Like that's the only way that you get better.
Yeah.
So you can watch all the videos in the world, you can read all the articles and the books in the world. If you're not actually doing it, you're not going to get better. Preaching to myself here more than you guys. Sorry, Gary.
Matt Wetton says, when are you coming to the UK?
Me? I would love to go to the UK.
You got to invite him. Invite him to your house.
Set up a clinic or something. I'll be there like tomorrow.
Yeah. Cobus@gmail.com.
No, that's not it. If you gave away my email address right now, that would have been horrendous. I've been to the UK once in 2009. It's actually my very first clinic. Yeah. I love England. It's awesome.
Cool. Dave Warfel says, what do you think of the extra holes drilled in the bass drum and toms to mount them? Would you rather not have them? Oh, we already talked about this. Okay, sorry. So it doesn't matter to either me or Cobus about that.
Doesn't make a huge difference.
Michael159 says, how do you get such ripped neck muscles, Jared? I don't know what that means even.
But how do you? I'm so interested in that. I'm very curious.
I don't have ripped.
If you notice that I don't have a neck, my head is the same width as my neck. I have no definition. Check it out, you guys. Like a tree trunk.
Sarahman says, can you end the lesson by doing a solo? In brackets says, don't forget to show off.
Oh, who's that? Who said that?
Sarahman.
Oh, you killed me just now.
And absolutely he'll do that.
How you put the pressure on.
Absolutely he'll do that.
If Jared will join me at some stage in the solo.
How, like, hit the drums?
You'll have to just do something.
I can do that.
Are we done? We're taking a few more questions.
Oh, yeah, we're getting close.
Oh, we have to give away the ride.
Give away the ride. Couple more questions, because there's so many. It's so many.
Three more.
Okay. Kristen Laugeson says, what are your thoughts of the tension relation? Oh, we talked about that. Sorry.
You have 3 questions and you read one that we've done already? Come on, Jared.
Oh, here we go. What do you think about, this is from R. Freeman 72. What do you think about the O-rings for the muffling with sound instead of tape? What do you think?
That's a lot of muffling. O-rings have a ton of muffling. So if that's what you want, when I got the first kit, one of the first things that I learned, but this was like quite a while into drumming, was X-ray, like the X-ray paper.
Yeah.
You just cut out a shape of an O-ring in that.
Ah.
And you just rest it on the head, and it looks quite cool.
Yeah.
But like I said, it deadens the drum completely, depending on the thickness of the ring. So if you want that sound, by all means. Otherwise, this is a little bit less aggressive, and then you can even have less tape if you want.
Yeah.
So.
Roy PG13 says, could you go over how to tune the bass drum? I'd like to know to get that punch you get. Please help. And we already, if you want to check out the whole video, that's on your YouTube channel.
Yes.
youtube.com/
Deedlebag.
I just like to embarrass.
I had no idea I was going to get 500,000 subscribers.
Oh, that is awesome, man. Every time I go there, I'm like, why?
Why Deedlebag? What does it mean?
This is from Dave Warfel. Do you like birch or maple better?
I like maple. I'm not emotional about it though. I'm not gonna say I'm passionate about maple.
Right.
Like it kind of, I guess I like birch kits as well, but I do like the warmth of maple.
Cool. Okay, I think we should ask a question to give away that symbol, and I'm going to see who's first in the chat.
Okay.
How does that sound?
It sounds good. What's the question?
The question is going to be about you.
Oh my gosh.
But I need you to give the answer. Okay?
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure you'll know the answer.
Jared, please don't make this embarrassing. Come on.
Okay, but Victor, can you cut audio so I can just talk to him for a sec?
Yeah.
I've asked him to do that. Here, I'll just type it.
Okay.
Okay, did you cut audio?
Yeah.
Oh, what is cut? Okay, awesome.
Okay, so. Okay, we back?
We're back.
Okay, sorry about that. Just had to. Okay, no, you couldn't read my lips because I was like the guys in Hawker. Hey, so what kind of pitch do you want me to throw there? You want me to throw a fastball? You want me to throw a soft pitch? Okay.
Is that how they talk? Is that why they do that? That makes sense.
Well, they put their glove over.
Oh, I see.
They just want to be like superheroes.
Oh, that's awesome. Like Bane.
Okay, so I'm gonna follow the chat to the best of my ability.
Cool.
By the way, thank you for doing this.
You're very welcome. Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah. Lots of people out.
That's awesome.
There was like 1 billion people here. It was crazy.
Man, that's cool.
The whole site just like crashed.
I appreciate you guys. Seriously though, really appreciate it that you take an hour of your life to hang out with us. It's awesome.
Oh, and you guys, the ultimate Cobus experience is on cobusmethod.com. It's a really cool bundle that he put together. He actually brought these out to Canada so we can ship them. So you get his original DVD, you get the Ventura Lights box set.
5 discs.
That's original music. You get documentary is awesome. I almost started crying with
Don't tell them when you started crying, so they keep.
Okay, but there's this one part in there. I'm like, man, that hits home because I spent some time on the road before with family and stuff, and so it was just like
awesome.
I text you. I think I'm like, you should put this on Netflix. People would love to see it. And you get the Cobus Method, 15 DVDs. 5 CDs, all in this box. Okay, it's like a bunch of
it's rad.
bunch of discs. You also get online access to all this information as well. Okay, and it's really really cool. And you get a month of Drumeo Edge
and a month of Drum Channel.
A month of Drum Channel. Drum Channel's in LA or Oxnard near LA, and they have like big drummers to come teach
Good catch. Good
teach
catch.
lessons. And Drumeo, we basically have like a new lesson every day. So we do this sort of thing every single day. Yeah. But okay. The question I'm going to ask you guys in the chat, I know you're just like waiting for it, and I'm just going to drag it out for as long as possible. Okay, where was Cobus born? What was his hometown and where he was born? Okay? And I will follow the chat, and the first person that I see get it, we're going to give you the symbol. Someone says Cape Town, someone says hospital, someone says Carew.
The town of hospital. Carew is really good. That's the region.
Bloemfontein.
No.
Cape Town. Oh no.
Oh, that's crazy. It's moving so fast.
Caravana. Oh, come on.
That might have been it. Oh, wow. That's crazy. The chat is moving so fast. No,
I can't even see who was first. You guys, you have to. Okay, just please stop for a second.
Whoa! Wow!
I can't even.
Can we have access to this afterwards?
Submit a. Yes, we can.
Okay, then we'll just scroll up afterwards and get in contact.
Do you think it's going to be there? Like if I just say some, you tell me if it was there.
Yeah. That is unreal.
Humans, Jorp.
No, that's
Caravan.
Carnarvon.
Carnarvon. Pardon?
You'll probably say Carnarvon.
Carnarvon. Spain?
No. Wow. Ask them to email it somewhere.
Yeah, well, if you put it, if it's here, but just put it in the submit a question box right below the video. The whole chat system is not actually letting me scroll up and see.
That's unreal because it's moving so fast. Wow. Okay, cool. But anyways, should I play a little solo?
Yes, and for those of you wondering who won, hopefully the right answer is in there. If it's not, you guys can keep posting. But we will email you.
Yes.
Okay, and we'll post it on the Cobus Method Facebook page.
That's right.
That you won. Okay, and so we also have your email address because you signed up to watch this lesson. And so easy enough. But like I said, thanks for doing this.
You're very welcome.
Sorry I lost your fish.
That's okay.
I'm on the record. I apologize.
I'm going to hold it against you forever until I catch a fish.
Okay, so give us a little solo and then go for it.
Okay. Wasn't that impressive? Oh my gosh.